Shh. Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
Yes. And you know what? We put out that Spotify thing last week.
Yeah.
A ton of people answered the call. So here's the deal. If you want to do it, and I think I spruced it up a little bit. If you're listening to Spotify, if you click on the episode itself, it takes you to like the bigger description of it. And then on the bottom, it says Q&A, and there's a question. The default one was something like, what did you think of this episode? I changed that default question to, is anybody listening?
Oh, amazing.
So if you ever want to respond there, or even about a particular topic or something, you can kind of chat to other people in there.
Cool.
But so that's how you do it. There are a ton. I'm just going to grab a couple real quick. This one's from Susie. Funny and surprising. I look forward to the podcast every week. I never know where the conversations will go. This one's from Amy. Happy birthday, Andy. You're my J. Duplass.
Oh.
For your birthday, I'm giving you the Handsomest of the Night award.
Oh my God.
Love this episode and all the rest. I'd listen to you guys both talk about laundry for hours. Thanks to St. Monica. So that's
amazing.
Amazing. I also forgot to do this last week. We got a DM on Instagram from Anne, who is holding it down in the Cayman Islands for us. So I just want to shout you out, Anne. I don't know if you're the only person holding it down in the Cayman Islands for us. I think you probably are the only person, but who knows?
I feel like a Cayman Islands trip has to be in our future.
But Anne, you're putting us on those iTunes charts week after week after week, doing the Lord's work.
The Lord's work.
So shout out to Anne. And I got one other quick shout out in revisiting something. This was a message from Maddie, and I quote, "I'm not sure we're tracking on the conception story. My son's birthday is September 20th.
Okay.
The due date was September 18th.
Okay.
You fall right in between those two dates.
I do.
September 19th. And I 100% know he was conceived on, wait for it, Christmas Eve.
No.
We were late for church with the fam. That's how they know.
Oh my God. So maybe my parents were having sex around Christmas time.
I know that's more complicated for you, but to me, that's the better story.
It's not more complicated. I just want to have the vision. You know what I'm saying? Of the vibe.
Okay, this happened, 2 episodes ago where you realized it might have been on a Christmas, and it was a big journey for you.
Yeah.
Then last week you're like, oh, you know what? I think it was New Year's Eve, and you were more comfortable with that.
No. I think
you
I just
were. If you rewind the tape.
I just had processed my feelings a little bit more.
Okay, I think Christmas Eve's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve's more beautiful than Christmas Day.
Yes.
Because it's a fun night.
Christmas Day is like, you're a monster.
Or
I feel like my mom didn't come if it was Christmas Day. She's exhausted. Your face.
I just didn't.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes.
I just said that to shock you. I don't really think about these things, and Andy, stop judging me.
I'm judging you. I'm going through a mix of emotions. One is like, I would never take it there where you just took it. And I love to push you, you know? I love to take things, but you went too far.
Okay.
Anywho.
Hang on. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was moving on.
Okay. I need to my blood is boiling. I can't even believe I'm laughing. Maybe that's why I took it too far. Thank God for this podcast. Because if this didn't exist, this would be a situation that happened, and then I'd tell you about it in passing, and you'd be like, oh, wow. And then I wouldn't really get to. What I'm about to do is burden you with my outrage.
Okay.
I had an experience this morning.
Yep.
And what are you looking at over there?
Just making sure we're recording.
Okay.
This feels juicy.
Okay. I had an experience this morning. So in our neighborhood, which is like a very sweet neighborhood,
mm-hmm.
We walk our kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple four-way stops, and there are stop signs naturally where roads intersect and stuff. There is also a car problem. Like, the way people do drive around here is terrible, and maybe this is across the board. I don't know if it's like
sure,
a pandemic thing. I don't know.
We learned our lesson with Cinnamon Toast, just to say Cinnamon Toast was in the Midwest.
Yes.
There might be a driving issue all around the country.
Is this just in Los Angeles? I'm like, I don't know, but it's to the degree that I'm right now dealing with the neighborhood city council. I'm trying to get a traffic study commissioned to implement more safety things for walking kids to school.
Yeah.
So just know that's in the background already.
You're trying to get a crossing guard back that disappeared during the pandemic.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do.
Great.
And the rigmarole I have to go through, I'm not going to do it. Like, it's not going to happen for me.
You've gotten so far.
I know, but the final mile of this feels so insurmountable that it's so frustrating. I'm like, I'm just trying to keep our fucking kids safe. So this morning, we go the long way, which is the safer way. Mm-hmm. There's a short way, which is the less safe way because cars drive like maniacs. And there's a long way, which is a safer way. Mm-hmm. We're going the long way. There is one stop sign that we cross over.
Okay.
And it's never been a problem.
Yeah.
This morning, for some reason, well, there were like 2 school buses that were coming, and then there were 4 cars behind the school buses. So we let the school buses go, and I like waved to the second school bus, go ahead, we're waiting for you.
Okay.
The school bus goes. Teddy and Otis and I start crossing, and we see the next car is coming up. And the car slows down.
Okay.
And like slows down well before the stop sign.
Okay.
I'm painting like a very honest picture of what happened.
Is it a stop sign or a stoplight?
Sign.
I don't even know where you are, but okay.
At the end of our street, going the long way, the end of the street that we live on.
Okay.
So basically we step out to cross, and the car doesn't stop. The car just keeps coming slowly at us. And like, it's timed so that, yes, once we pass the area where it could hit us, it is then crossing over. But like, it does not stop. And it was to the degree that, and I'm looking at this person like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And Teddy said, that was scary.
Okay.
And I was like, I know. People drive like crazy. I assumed that car was going to stop. It was slowing down.
Yeah.
So we carry on.
Okay.
I get to school. Bye, love you. And I saw that car was parked in front of school. I like hurry the kids off. Bye, love you. Go. You know, they get inside because that car is about to leave.
Okay.
And I had watched as we approached. I saw that car. And I watched the mom, 2 kids getting out, hugs, hugs, kisses, love you, carry on.
Nice family dynamic going on there.
Of course it's a mother. Not that, that's not true.
Well, a woman driver, that makes all sorts of sense.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean it like that. I shouldn't have said that, but
it didn't even read like that to me. I don't even know how you think that might have read. So I think no worries there. In
my mind, I'm like, of course it's a mother because of because I decided to do something about it. It's really interesting. If it were a man, I don't know if things would be changed. But I have an idea of how they might be changed. But anyway, so I knock on the window, and I literally am thinking, I don't want to put this person on the defensive. I don't want to ruin their day.
Yeah.
I literally just want things to be safer. And the fact that my kid said that was scary, we're also living in a world where they have fucking lockdown drills and school shooters. Like, I don't need added fear in my kid's life going to school.
Were these kids older than our kids? They were younger kids. Okay, so this is maybe a newer family at the school.
Well, this is interesting because it kind of plays into this. So I'm like, hi, sorry. And I think she saw me and like she almost like rolled her eyes when she clocked who I was.
Oh, wow.
And I said, hey, sorry. You know, back there, you kind of rolled through the stop sign. And, oh, by the way, I want you to grade me, Andy, on how I handled this. because since this has happened, I reenacted it fully in the bathroom mirror with how I wished I had done it.
You reenacted it?
Well,
Can we reenact it?
I do that as I'm about to. I do that as I process things,
But
and I'm
were
like,
you out loud in the mirror or in your head in the mirror?
I was out loud because I was saying the things I wished I had said.
And probably fixing your face, sort of like how you wanted your face to come across more friendly or something?
No, I thought I was very friendly. I didn't have makeup on, so maybe I looked a little scary.
No.
I don't know.
Did the other mom have makeup on yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is so great. Okay, hold on. So, okay, just be completely honest of what you said and give me and our listeners
the vibe.
But in an honest version about how you came across and how the other parent came across.
Okay.
Like as honest as you can be.
I do think she was immediately on the defensive.
But when you say like she sort of rolled her eyes, are you projecting that? Like, because you're going into this nervous that like she's going to have that reaction? Or do you think there really was oh God, it's this woman?
I do think there was a little bit of, oh God, here we go.
Cool.
Or almost like, are you kidding me?
Really?
Yes.
But this is a hard thing that we'll never know. It's like, how much are you bringing that to the table?
Sure.
Or was it real?
But I think we can backfill a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I'm very friendly. Like, hey, and I'm trying to be very just please stop at the stoplights.
Okay.
Or stop signs.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think I said I appreciate it. I was so careful about just being like, hey, back there, you know, you kind of rolled through it slowly, but it was a little, what's the word I used? I want to get this right. Oh, I didn't use this word until later. But
in the mirror? Let's use the words we used with the lady.
I will. So I said, would you please just stop? Because it was a little scary.
And did you say it was scary for my kid? Or
no, and that's one of the things I really regret. So consider that when you give me my grade.
Okay.
She was like, okay, you know, I was going so slowly. Mm-hmm. You saw how slow I was going, and there were the school buses, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's just around here, you know, people are not that conscientious. I didn't say that. I'm lying through this. I'm sorry.
Don't lie.
Okay.
Be real.
I said something about around here, and maybe I didn't finish that thought, but I could tell from her, like, she wasn't going to apologize.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to say she won't do it again. She was going to make me feel absolutely insane for making this an issue. And I'm so mad that I did not say, my kid said that was scary. Mm-hmm. But then I said something about like, but around here, it's just, well, you're supposed to stop at the stop sign.
We don't see. Okay. You're get the facts straight. What did you say?
I wish I had a recording. I don't. And also I was so, it's not that I didn't expect this reaction, but you know, you get into that. I'm trying to stay calm and chill about it. And she's like, she's kind of smiling in this like, are you kidding me way? But,
whoa.
And which I found so obnoxious. And I was like, so I'm just asking that you stop. That I did say, I think. And then she goes, we've lived here for like 4 years. I was going and I don't know where that fucking came here. We've been here for 4 years. I was like,
Did you say how long we'd been here?
I wish I had spoken to that. Again, I made so many mistakes. Andy, I was truly, and she started rambling on and continuing to be like, I was going so slowly. Like,
was there an apology though? I feel like you're glossing over that. Not at all.
Oh my God, no.
Okay.
And it was almost like she was negotiating with me that it should be okay that she didn't stop because she was rolling very slowly.
Right. That's not how stop signs work.
That's not how stop signs work. And so what I did, when I realized this was just like a losing thing, I said, well, you're supposed to stop at a stop sign. Thank you. And I walked away.
Oh, and I know that thank you was even bigger than the one you just did because I've seen that. Thank you. Thank you.
I could have, you know, like when moms get like, can lift a car off of a child or something.
This is different.
No.
This is different.
No, it's not. You know why?
Okay.
The adrenaline I felt was like, once I was in this interaction, it was like life or death for my children.
No, this is rage. That the saving the kid is the kid needs to be saved. This, I know you're conflating it because you're like, but this was a safety issue with my kid.
Well, physically, I felt like I could fly.
The feeling that you felt, though, was rage at this person.
I could fly. I could have flown away off of this rage. Wings on winds of rage. And I saw our friends, the dad is Scottish and, our friends. Do you know who I'm talking about?
He likes bourbon?
Yes.
Yeah. Or no, he likes scotch.
And luckily I was like, and I think they saw kind of the tail end of it. Like, okay. And I was like, oh my God. And so it was nice to be able to diffuse a little bit of it. And they were just like, oh yeah. Of course, they were just like giving me what they can give you, which is like, that's crazy, But it was like, and the mom was like, just apologize. And, we're all human. We all make errors in driving.
Yeah.
I actually recently made an error in driving, and I immediately was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and wished that I could have apologized to that person.
Yeah.
And it's like, just so in this woman's mind, I know she thought she like rolled slowly through the thing. There's no world where we could have felt unsafe. But then if someone's coming and asking you to stop and you're rolling through a stop sign with two little kids crossing in front of it, you realize like, oh, I was wrong. And the fact that she was trying to negotiate like her rightness with me when she did not stop at a stop sign, and my huge regrets are thusly. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck did I not say, my daughter said that was scary?
Yeah.
Number two, I wish I had said, if our roles were reversed, you would feel exactly the same way. And it's, not only is it illegal what you did, but also it's rude. Mm-hmm. It made us feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And we've lived here longer than you. I wish
you
I had.
Dumb fucking
bitch. So anyway, but I don't know if I handled it super well, but what I am proud of myself for is I never lost it. Like, I stayed in control the whole time.
Something tells me that. What was the final thing that you said?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, don't do it like that. That's Andy. Can I tell you something? You are annoying me right now. I thought that I was gonna be like,
I'm so with you.
Finding.
Don't worry. I'm just trying to. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. This is a situation where I shouldn't be poking at all.
And also, like, it was fucked up.
Yeah.
I was in the right. She was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And so I don't like that maybe I set myself up for failure by asking you to grade me on this, but what would you give that interaction? And no, we all have these things that happen, and then afterwards we're like, I should have said this. I should have said this.
Okay, let me give you the grade, and then let me give you my thoughts. Grade, I'd give you a B-, I think.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's bad.
Okay.
You must not have had a lot of B- growing up.
We had different GPAs. So, okay, this is pulling my whole GPA down.
Here's a couple thoughts. One, on a bigger level, these interactions always surprise me. And we all know I'm lately even starting to get a thrill in wanting these kind of interactions with people. Yeah, you're craving them. Right? Mm-hmm. Yet I think I'm the type of person that can handle it if they come back at me. But it is amazing that people don't know, you and I probably don't know, this woman doesn't know how that like automatic defensiveness can kick in. I would like to think if I was that mother, I would be like, I would see your...
I'd be so embarrassed.
I would see you knock. I would be completely embarrassed, and I would almost be apologizing before words came out of your mouth.
Yes.
That being said, there is a part of me that does understand that human nature thing of like, why do people jump to this defensive bullshit so much instead of just owning it? But
why are you like maintaining?
There's no reason to.
Like you're defending yourself at all costs when just basics, like take away the fear, take away how it felt. Just, you're supposed to stop at a stop sign.
And listen,
don't defend rolling through a stop sign.
We all are guilty of
Yes.
rolling through a stop sign.
Yes.
Yet
But
if someone
not when
tells
there's
you
two
not
little-
to do it when there's 2 little kids at school time drop off, you know it's school time drop off because you're dropping off your kids and someone calls you on it, why the fuck would you try to defend that?
I know.
So I'm with you 100%.
Do you think she has like thought about it? Because then I was thinking later, I'm trying to imagine her doing this on her podcast with whoever and be like, I was going so slowly. And she was like, can you stop at the stop sign?
Thank you.
And I'm trying to imagine the other person going like, the other person is going to go, well, wait, so did you not stop? And there were kids crossing? Like,
right. But probably not. Right. Maybe there's a world where the other person is like, God, you people are so uptight. You were going super slow. It's so bullshit, though.
Okay.
You're totally in the right.
Yeah.
I give you a B- because the knock on the window, I don't know why, it just feels that's a hard maneuver to do.
What was I supposed to do?
You didn't have an option. I'm just saying that's a part of the interaction and the grading that you have no control over.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That doesn't feel fair, but okay.
But part of me is like, you should have been like, hey, there might have been a way to diffuse it a little bit right out the bat, which actually kind of seems like you tried to do.
Tried to. Even your hey is way more like aggressive.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, hi. I was almost apologizing, like, sorry to bother you, but it just made us.
Hey, sorry to bother you. You know, we had that interaction at the thing. This around the school is so dangerous. I've actually been trying to get a crossing guard to come back.
No, because then I seem like the crazy person who's obsessed with this.
True.
What I should have said
true.
is, it made us feel unsafe. And in fact, my daughter said that was scary. So in the future, can you please stop at the stop? Because I feel like whatever she comes back at me with after hearing that the kid said that was scary is, it renders everything pointless. Like if she's like, I was going so slow, it doesn't matter. You scared my kid.
Then you're just an asshole.
You scared my kid.
Now let's talk about the aspect of, did she just let this go? Or is she telling a friend right now? Or is she telling her husband? She's probably not married. I don't know who'd want to be married to her. But
or has she left, has the like adrenaline calmed down a bit, and has she thought like, I probably should have just like, why did I get into it? I should have just said, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I will be.
There's so many different flavors of that. And I am honestly envious of the flavor that people like, that she hasn't thought about it since then.
I don't think that's possible. I think she definitely has. I think it rattled her. The fact that she brought up how long they've lived there, which is so irrelevant. I think she was like spiraling a little bit.
Sure.
And, you know, my tone changed really quickly. I was very reasonable up until I saw her weakness, which was...
What was her weakness?
Her saying, we've lived here for 4 years, and...
And was like, that in a way... I don't even understand that argument.
I feel like she was grasping at straws, and I saw that. And when she continued to defend her insanity, that's when I switched so quickly and was like, well, you're supposed to stop at a stop sign. Thank you. Yeah. And I walked away.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
here's the most beautiful moment that could come out of this. She is thinking about this later. She has a great mom. She does have a great family. She loves her kids.
Gave her kids sweet hugs.
Gave them sweet hugs. We know that. I'm kidding about the husband. And then you guys have some sort of interaction. Maybe it's 2 days from now. Maybe it's 2 weeks from now. And that will be very meaningful if she was like, hey, I'm sorry about that. I was flustered. I got a little defensive. I totally understand where you're coming from to keep our kids safe. And then you know what? You guys are thick as thieves.
No, I wouldn't be thick as thieves.
You wouldn't. That's a meaningful thing when people have, is that a mea culpa?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. And I'd be like, thank you so much. That really means a lot. And I'm just worried about safety.
Yeah.
But I just don't have time for new friends. Like, I'm not gonna become thick as thieves, especially if our kids aren't in our kids' classes. So, yeah. But anyway,
Wow.
okay, I do feel a little bit better. I don't love the B- of it, but I guess I
I'm
deserve
starting
that.
to think you're coming up to a B.
Okay.
You did nothing wrong. I'm trying to think what I would have done. I just wouldn't have said anything.
I know, but I would have regretted not saying anything, and that would have eaten. I'm glad I did. That would have eaten away at me more than this interaction.
But do you think, like, part of me is like, I wouldn't do anything because I would almost assume that they knew they messed up. Like,
Well,
what part of you was like...
I think I mean, obviously, this is me going into writer mode. If I can peel back the layers of this onion, she obviously does know she did something wrong. That's why she got so defensive and started spiraling into it, like grasping at straws insanity.
Yeah.
Part of her knows, I mean, deep down, she knows she did something wrong. And I think she knew it back when she was doing it. And I gave her a look.
Right.
You know?
Like, that would be the assumption. I think of so I've had one instance at that intersection where I crossed before I should have, and there were like kids involved, and I felt so terrible, and I did like I'm so sorry type of thing.
Yeah.
And I instantly, no one would have ever had to have been like, hey, why did you go then? I instantly clocked it, and I'm more extra careful now because of it. So I'm almost thinking of it like, if I was her and had that experience where, like, you gave me the look, there were kids right there, the second you knock on the window, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like, the apology would be right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Where this was not the case. Well, listen, I think I'm giving you permission right now. I think you can totally shake this off now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Move on. You do get a slight jolt of energy that you might have a grudge with a parent at the school now.
Well, can I tell you what does give me power?
Sure.
That I kind of love, and it kind of goes back to the car note thing.
Yeah.
Is that she now, like, she knows who I am.
Yeah.
But I know who she is. I know who her kids are, and I know what car she drives. I have more info on her, and I feel like I'm way more anonymous to her.
Okay.
But
we have a school event tomorrow night that they might be at.
Great.
I do feel like we want to present.
Well, I will be wearing makeup.
And sort of powerful.
Should I wear like a blazer?
No, I want you... I have some ideas for us.
Okay.
Okay, let me lighten it up a little bit, okay? I've been wanting to tell you something so bad similarly, but this is a delightful story.
Great.
Okay, the other day, I went up to the cabin a day early than you guys.
Yes.
To see if we could even get in this cabin because there's so much goddamn snow up there.
Yes.
And I was going to play Rocket League with my buddies that night, so I took the Nintendo Switch dock. But I was like, ooh, I need an HDMI cable for up at the cabin. I'm going to stop at Target on my way up. And then, so I'm driving, I'm by myself, I'm having the time of my life. Ooh, maybe I'll get some suntan lotion at Target. I'm getting hyped for my Target trip. I'm going to a new Target I've never been to.
You love Target.
That's like an hour into the drive. Maybe this will be the perfect Target to stop at going up to the cabin. It sure was. So I park in this Target. I'm walking in. I'm not even in the store. I'm walking in the parking lot and I hear this. Okay. I heard that ding.
From Duolingo.
The Duo
Ding. The Duo ding.
The Duo ding. Now, I hear that in the parking lot.
For people who don't know.
Yes.
So our family has been doing Duolingo French. And Andy has the longest streak of us. I think you're on 35 days now.
35 days, yeah.
And that sound happens when you get it basically just quizzes you through simple French. And it's very effective, I have to say. And you get that noise when you get it right.
Every correct answer. I've turned my ding off, but it is a great ding. So I hear that in the parking lot. I'm like, where's that coming from? Yeah. Right? I look over and then I hear it again. And then I see a woman walking. And at first, I know the ding, but I don't know the ding because I'm walking through a parking lot. It seems odd. And then I'm like, that's the Duolingo ding.
Yeah.
And I see the woman with her phone walking through the parking lot. Maybe not the safest thing. Doing Duolingo, walking through
with
a parking
drivers
lot.
out there like that crazy fucking gal this morning.
And we kind of merge as we're about to walk into the Target store. And I go, Duolingo? And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, I love it. And I go, me too. And then we're walking into Target and we're almost about to part ways. But then thank God I remembered. And I looked at her and I go, what's your streak?
Oh, I thought you were going to follow each other.
What do you mean? Oh, in the app?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
But I'm like, what's your streak? And she just fired off with so much
confidence
and being proud. 161. 161 day streak. And I was like, I'm at 21. That's really inspiring. But it was just the best moment with a stranger I've had in a long time.
What a great balance. I come in with this shit and you just cleaned it right up. That is what I'm talking about. Like, that is the beauty of humanness. Mm-hmm. That is so great.
It was so good. And it like really... It really set the tone of the rest of the day. I was already in a great mood. Mm-hmm. And then just this lady having 161. And you know what? It was inspiring. I want to get to 161. I want to have a streak for, I think, what happens if we get over a year? I mean, I'm at 35.
Oh, man, that is exciting. We'll do something big.
I'm going big. You know, Otis, I told him if he gets to 50-day streak, he gets a $50 Nintendo game card that he can buy a game.
Wow.
I know. Was kind of a big gift.
That's too much, Andy.
Well, here's the thing. The games are $50. And I was like, if he really gets to a 50-day streak, that's a pretty big commitment for
a
something.
7-year-old,
For a 7-year-old.
And he is doing it. Like, he gets it done.
Yeah. So I know it's a big reward, but I was like 50 and 50. That's how much a game costs. And I'm like, if he really does it, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just like, these kids get so much stuff.
And they love, well, one of them loves stuff more than the other.
I didn't even tell you this. So last night for your birthday, we went to the mall.
What's so funny? We can talk about CPK.
Okay, your whole birthday day, for people who don't know, and you can, actually it was on my story, so I think it's gone. But every year, Andy and I make each other birthday menus for the day before the birthday, so we can kind of build our own birthday, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, in the morning, would you like donuts with the kids, or would you like to go out for breakfast, whatever.
Yeah.
So Andy's birthday menu, basically the check marks were donuts with the kids, open gifts in the morning, Costco, which you've been wanting to do with me for a while.
Yeah, you haven't gone since pre-pandemic.
Oh, I probably haven't gone in 6 years.
Yeah.
If not 10. I don't know. It's been a long time.
We know why. We'll get in that too.
Then we had a Tetris tournament, which was fun. We took a nap, which was fun. And then we picked up the kids and went to the mall.
We went to Houston's for lunch before that.
Oh, yeah, we did, which I love it there.
Yeah, it's so good.
So we went to the mall and we went to CPK for dinner. And CPK was... it was a night. It was a disaster.
A disaster.
I actually haven't had, but you know what? We maintained good attitudes throughout it.
It's kind of funny.
It was kind of funny. I just did that whole thing about that lady. we don't need to get into everything that went wrong, but it was just every step of everything at CPK.
Well, we can do the cliff notes. I mean, we got there, they said it'd be a 20-minute wait, and we're looking at CPK, and it's just open tables everywhere.
There were like 6 tables of people, and there were probably 24 empty.
Yeah. And then one lady was like, when I checked in after 20 minutes, how much longer? And she's like, I'm sorry, maybe about 15 minutes more. We had a big takeout order. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about your takeout order. That seemed very unprofessional. Anyways, we
I
get
think they
there.
were just really short-staffed.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
we
so.
put our order in. I didn't get the stuff I wanted forever. Then, like, at the end of the meal, my drink finally came. And
It was
then
a great drink, though. You loved it.
It was called the sparkling berry. It was a non-alcoholic drink. It was refreshing and delicious. But what I didn't mention to you, during that wait,
Yeah.
the kids were like, we want to go over to that store.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a kind of, how do we describe that store? It's like,
A hobby store.
it said hobby store, but the hobbies are like Japanese anime
Oh, okay.
type
yeah.
stuff, which, like, up in Big Bear, Otis and I just went to the store that had all sorts of like Pokemon stuff and stuff like that. I thought it was going to be a store like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we walk in and first I just see all of these like figurines of like uber sexualized.
Oh, yeah. I've
like
seen those.
huge titties and,
Yeah,
you know,
I know
like
exactly
whatever.
what you're talking about.
Then I swear to God, and I need to look into this, but it was so upsetting. I was like, Teddy, Otis, come on.
Okay.
On the bottom shelf, like right when you walk in,
Okay.
was, I'm just going to say it,
Well, please.
like this medallion swastika. A swastika. And it must be,
What?
and then I look, and then there's another swastika next to it, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? There must be some Japanese anime thing. So it looks like a swastika, but on the end of each, like, part of the swastika, it's a triangle instead of it being like, I'm like, there must be some logo or symbol in some.
Oh, that's
deep
so
cut.
similar.
But it's so similar that I'm like, I cannot believe this is here and out, let alone in the front of the store.
Okay.
And it was so upsetting that I was just like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And then I mean, they didn't need to be, I should have seen the tits first and been like, we're getting out of here. But who knows what they saw within those 4 seconds that we were there.
What's so funny is I almost sent them over alone. So I'm so glad you went there because I hadn't been in that store since probably pre-pandemic. And that store used to be like a hobby store, but it was like trains, like model trains and stuff like that. So I'm like, they were like, can we go over there? And I was like, yeah, go check out the model train store. And it says hobby on it. So I'm like, there's no problem. And then I see you quickly like kind of usher them back. And they came back over to me and you went somewhere else. And I was like, what happened? And they were both like, I don't know about that store. And then one of the kids was like, and there was a funny smell. So I just assumed that like it smelled like weed or something. And you're like, oh, we can't be in here. But that's really crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Tits
very
and swastikas. That's no good. You don't want the kids to see that.
No, very upsetting.
Jeez. Okay, so anyways, where were we going with all this? Anyways, yeah, CPK was kind of a disaster.
What were we talking about? What got us here?
I think like consumerism and how our kids like things.
Oh, Costco. Okay.
No.
Well, I was saying like they always get stuff. And so we went to the arcade after dinner and it's your birthday. It was really fun.
It was really fun.
That's the most fun I've had at like a Dave & Buster's type arcade type place.
Yeah.
But they get all these points and tickets afterwards. And I'm just thinking like, and I know it's joyful for them, but I feel like we just had Easter.
Yeah.
Like the amount of shit these kids get is just so overwhelming. And so
it is shit.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's all this plastic shit. So at the end, you take your tickets up and you're like, I'm going to pick out this, and this. And also, there's this secret part of my life. You and I talked about this recently. We've talked about like the division of labor.
Yeah.
And so you do so much, and we are definitely equal partners. And like you pack the kids' lunch every day. You do like you're dealing with all of our car lease stuff. You're doing.
Oh, I love car leases.
There's all this stuff that you do, and a lot of it is invisible, like the car lease stuff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of what I do is invisible also. And it's like all the doctor's appointments, all of the holidays, all of the birthdays, And
let me guess, organizing all the shit.
So a huge part of my life,
Yeah.
We have a very small house.
Yeah.
And very limited closet space.
Yep.
I spend so much time just walking through our house and first of all, taking little tiny things like one Lego that needs to be like, then you have to unpack the whole fucking Lego thing to put it back in. And we ask our kids to clean up, and they will. They'll be like, okay, I cleaned up the Legos. But then they've missed the 3 pieces, and it's like,
and then you're like, it's
I
not
have to
worth
do it all over
yeah,
again.
Sure. Yeah.
But also being strategic about throwing away this crap when they're done with it.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, our kid will say like, well, where's my bobblehead I got from like the McDonald's meal 7 months ago?
Yeah.
So I have to like really gauge how invested they are in each thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm constantly throwing away plastic shit.
Yeah.
And it bums me out. Like last night we came home, they were thrilled. It was so fun for them. It was your birthday. But with like armloads of plastic shit, we just got armloads of plastic shit from Easter.
Sure.
And it's just too much. And then we went to Costco.
Yeah.
Now, Costco, you love.
Well, here's the problem. This is what I realized. I wanted you to go because you got hyped about Costco around Thanksgiving because
Kate Spencer, who has a podcast, Forever 35, with Dory Schaefer, I think, she did like a stories series of her Costco purchases, and she kind of made it. It's funny. I don't know how she did this, but she made it look like very fun and like a whole different shopping experience than.
It is very fun.
Okay.
This is the problem. I was excited because you got hyped up last Thanksgiving about the idea of Costco because Kate put it in such a great light. Mm-hmm. And so finally you're off work. It's my birthday. I'm like, I'll bring Elizabeth to Costco because I do like going to Costco.
Yeah.
But this is what I learned very early on going with you to Costco was we had a list. I wanted to make sure we got everything on the list, but I was hoping that you would have a couple magical moments, maybe one of seeing something like, oh, that is great. I do need that because there is that fun thing about Costco. There's random shit that you probably don't need, but sometimes you're like, oh, that's great. Maybe it's a seasonal item. Who knows? So as we're going through, we're 5 minutes into our Costco journey, and I'm going down an aisle, then another, and you go, so we're going to go down every aisle? And that was the moment where I was like, she doesn't fucking get it. Yes, we're going to go down every aisle. We're going to soak it up. We're going to see what surprises find us here in Costco.
Can I tell you something, though?
Yeah.
I actually was on like really good behavior because it was your birthday and I didn't want to shit on everything.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't know if it was that comment that kind of set you off.
Which comment?
Me saying we're going to go down every aisle.
Yeah.
But like, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you enjoying that? Because you looked the entire time kind of like a lost lamb. Like I was like, I don't know if your ADHD is like you're feeling overwhelmed, but you were kind of like wandering. You looked stressed out. You didn't look like you looked lost and stressed. You didn't look like you were in your place that you love. And I don't know. Because,
do you want the real honest answer?
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized I should have gone by myself probably. You know? I realized that you don't understand Costco, right? And so I was probably, if I'm being completely honest, after we're on aisle 3 and you're like, we going down each aisle. And when I had that moment of realizing she doesn't get it, I love my wife so much, but she doesn't get Costco, that I was probably a little extra stressed out, and it was busier than I would have liked it. But then I might have normally been because I was worried that you would be getting overwhelmed and that you were like, what are we?
No, you don't need to take me into account. You do this too often, where then you put it on me. Listen, I think that Costco is to you what World Market is to me.
I love World Market too, though.
But
probably not as much.
I love World Market. And there, I feel like I can see something and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I didn't even know I missed it until I saw it. But at Costco, when you do that and you're like, oh, that looks cool or good or like yum.
Yeah.
You are committing to taking up so much space in our lives and also so much money.
Okay,
Like,
no.
to try to be like, ooh, that granola bar looks good. You're $80 later. And also, like, half of our garage.
Okay. Here's what Costco would have looked like had you not come with me yesterday, okay?
Okay. This is great.
We
Go
would
ahead.
have entered the store, and there's all the electronics right when we enter the
First
store.
of all, there are the people who are like, can I help you lower your electrical bill?
Okay, just let me talk, okay?
Okay,
Let me tell
sorry.
you what it would have been like without you,
Sorry.
okay? Not with you, because that's what you're doing even right now.
Oh, yeah.
We walk in, there's a section with all the computers.
Who are you with?
I'm by myself. No.
You and
Oh, I walk in.
Yeah.
And I would have gone down every aisle of the electronics part, which I completely skipped because I knew that you would have been like, what are we doing? And I would have stopped at the little Apple kiosk. I would have even gone to the little iPad thing to look up the accessories to be like, hey, I wonder if AirTags are on sale today. Okay. I would have looked at that. I would have looked at the price of some of the MacBook Pros. Uh-huh. Then I would have gone by and be like, I wonder which 2 terabyte hard drives they're selling right now. Is it the SanDisk ones or do they still have those weird Samsung ones with the touch button? Okay. I'm in it that much.
Okay.
So that would have been the beginning, like, oh, this feels good.
Okay.
Then I would peruse to the next part. I had kids' water bottles on my list, so I would have gone and try to find those. That was the first thing that I went for with you, and they didn't have them. And then you made the comment, like, are we going down every aisle? And I was like, God damn it. You weren't in a headspace to allow yourself the magic of Costco. Now, I will say this. Towards the end of the trip, though, I do think you probably slid into it because you started grabbing all these cleaning products. You started grabbing a lot of stuff.
Well, we need it for the cabin.
We do, but like, I think you slid into it a little bit towards the end.
But it's sliding into just gross excess. Like,
But
we walked out of there, we spent $500.
That's true. We did, right. But
like, what were you hoping for? To spend $1,000 on stuff?
No. See, this is what you don't get about me and Costco. I go there pretty often, and I'm not. How often am I coming home and you're like, that was an irresponsible Costco purchase? You might be annoyed that I'm always getting the like mandolins or
Madeleines. Mandolin is a musical instrument.
Or the chopper thing in the kitchen.
Chopper.
Chopping like cheese and onions. A mandolin?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's more like I have my go-tos. I get my kitchen bags. I look at the hard drives.
You know what? I want you to gift yourself next week a Costco trip solo. I want you to
But we don't need anything right now.
I want you to have a birthday redo. Yeah, but go.
But I don't want you to think that you ruined it. I just want to be honest that I know now.
You ruined it. It was really crowded too. I was
crowded. The other thing is like we live kind of in between a couple Costcos, and there's another one that I think I might want to become my Costco, but they all have similar yet different flows. And I know this Costco so well, and it's like seems to be a big thing to learn the new Costco. This is getting crazy. Okay.
Okay. God. Have we plugged our Patreon yet? Patreon, if you want more riveting conversation like this.
God bless everybody that said they might be interested in a laundry episode, because there were some people on that Spotify thing that mentioned it there.
Oh,
and
well,
I think there was a review
out.
too.
For people who want to listen to it,
Is it out?
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet, but
it's going to be out.
We're going to do it.
Also, I am getting a hankering for another Mario Kart tournament. So for our patrons, please keep your eyes peeled for the date on that. And it's patreon.com/nobody's listening right. We really appreciate your support. As you can tell, we're a small independent operation. So far, we have not had ads. And so your support means so much to us.
I got so stressed out when you told me that about the Mario Kart thing, because I was like,
hey, will you grab me a paper towel? Do you see what I just did? I just fully poured my coffee outside of my mouth. Oh, no. Are you okay?
I was saying, I got so stressed out when you said the Mario Kart thing, not because I don't want to do the Mario Kart thing. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I instantly had this like, fuck, did I write down how the hell I set all that stuff up to do it? Like, I got to write stuff down. I forget, because you do something and you think you'll remember.
Yeah.
And you don't remember.
So once a year, and this is not necessary, I've also realized, because we have like Google Photos and stuff that kind of keeps everything somewhat organized for you. But I'm psychotic, and I like pare down all of our photos. I combine your photos and my photos in a shared album. I put them on my computer and on a hard drive, and then I also make a yearly photo album.
It's so cool, the photo album thing that you do.
It is so cool, but I will say, like, the amount of stress, I know that we will appreciate that we have them, especially later on.
Yeah.
But the amount of, like, it's on my to-do list for so long.
Yeah, that's the problem with it.
And it's always this, I mean, it takes a long time it takes like a couple of days for me to do, and I very rarely have a couple of days to dedicate to anything.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it stresses me out, but I have finally written down like all of the steps that you have to take, or that I take to make it happen. And it has made the stress of it less, I will say. It's good to have like a flow chart of how to do things.
I'm in the same thing with this show right now that we're doing so much video. I'm starting now. I have like a template for everything that I duplicate each, like I'm trying to get more systems in place to make it easier and refine it. But it takes time to refine the template, right?
Right.
Instead of just being in it and doing it. But I'm like, no, do that extra work now to make life easier. It just also makes me think of like, I think you've mentioned on the show, if someone cracked the code on that photo thing of like how to organize your family photos and have
I'm sure they have. I think there are a
probably
million
a few
blogs
out
that
there.
I'll go on these blogs of like, here's how I do it.
Yeah.
They're all complicated. Like no one, I mean, the truth is what has cracked the code is like Google Photos. And then you just have all your photos there. As the true code, which I don't do, is as you take your photos,
put them into the thing,
edit as you go. So if you're taking 10 photos of one thing,
delete the bad ones.
Yeah. And then at the end of the year, your Google Photos is just populated with
and
the
then
good
you make
photos.
Your album. But I'm talking about a service, and maybe like I bet this already exists. Maybe people will let us know. But also like maybe AI will help with this, where it's like an app you're putting on your phone that it's just doing the work all year long. And you can pop in on it whenever you want to see what it's done. But then it's like, it shows you like, this is the album that I've made so far. Go in and like thumbs down the photos you don't like, and I'll keep making it better. And then you get it. But like, I'd like to talk for a second about products that like, ooh, that would be a cool thing to make, or something that we could have as a brand. Because I think you should have like a skincare line, because people commented on how great your skin was a few weeks ago.
Well, don't say that now. What if it's bad right now and I have that rash?
But now, perfect. See, let's turn lemons into lemonade. You have a little rash. Let's talk about that. And then it clears up and your skin's back again. What did you do? What would your skincare line be called?
Well,
I just think we should be brainstorming these ideas in case someday we want to have all these cool businesses.
Okay. I can barely keep up with the businesses we have.
I know, but it's just fun to dream about.
Yeah. But
you don't think you could have a skincare line?
It's just not my, like, there's so many. I feel like, was it on the podcast that you were talking about? Like, you always have these great feminine product ideas. Like, there should be like pads that are different colors and cool prints, or so. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
But no, that's not what it is, because I haven't seen that out there. But I feel like you came up with
Whoa. Pause there. There isn't a pad company that's like, okay, we know about Honest diapers for kids.
Yeah.
They changed the game with good sourcing. I think some people push back on that, of the product itself, the ingredients.
Yeah.
But really fun, different prints.
On the exterior.
There aren't pads that you can get all sorts of different prints. That's a subscription thing. You know how many women get their period? A lot.
Okay.
No. This is a huge market.
Andy, let me tell you something.
Okay.
First of all, diapers, it makes sense because the babies are wearing them and you're seeing them in them and it's cute and fun and it's baby stuff.
Okay.
Yes, on pads, like the exterior packaging and stuff, there are prints and there are prints marketed for like college kids and blah, blah, blah. But you don't really want like inks or dyes on your tampons or your pads, probably where you're bleeding and stuff. I think it would be off-putting to have like...
They don't have that on the diapers. It's on the exterior, not on the absorbent part.
But the exterior of the pad just goes on your underwear.
So that's where it goes on babies too. They wear clothes over their diapers.
It's different. It's very different.
You don't want to...
Hey, Andy, I don't want to do this.
I just see the cool packaging and stuff. It's probably already out there.
Yeah.
Is there a subscription pad company? That does seem like a no-brainer. There must be that.
I don't know, but don't even get me started on like pads should be free, tampons should be free. It's so, the whole thing, the pink tax is real.
What's a pink tax?
So the pink tax is basically the amount of money that people identifying as women and also like women who have uteruses have to spend to exist in the world. Like it shouldn't, we have a bodily function that like it just should be covered for us, and how expensive tampons and pads are or period underwear or whatever. Just that's part one of it. Like how much do we spend over a lifetime on that sort of thing, on doctor's visits pertaining to women's health care, all of that stuff. Plus, how much do we spend on makeup and skincare products? And why? Well, you can say, well, you don't really have to, but it's scientifically documented like that women who wear makeup and take good care of their skin and get paid more. Not as much as men, though, for the same job. So the pink tax is very expensive. And I think about that a lot. Like, makeup is expensive.
What's the history of like tampons and pads? Like, what did people use? Because it's kind of a newer invention, like the last probably 100 to 200 years.
Yeah, I think it used to be pretty, I think like our grandmothers had like belts of some sort that had
something that attached to it, which was absorbing. But like before that, what was it? You know what I mean?
I mean, probably just cloth rags there are cultures and going way back in time where like the women would go off to like a hut and just bleed for the week, which honestly sounds, that's not true. But
do you think that was, if you were in a village and you were going off for your week of your cycle, do you think everyone in that village, their cycle would sync up, so then you would be all together? Would that be good, or would you rather have like private time?
The syncing up of the cycles, I feel like I read something recently that's not totally accurate. Like,
but anecdotally, I feel like this is a time when you go to college, you can remember everyone being like, oh yeah, all of our cycles synced up. Or do you think it's just like,
I kind of think it's bullshit. Yeah, maybe a listener who knows what they're talking about can point us in the right direction, but I feel like that's kind of a old wives' tale, and like, yes, periods are going to sync up at some point unless everyone has the exact same, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'd love to learn more about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to, I feel like we're talking about periods a lot on this podcast. This reminded me of something I was thinking about the other day, which is, since we're talking about the pink tax and periods and everything, how like of all the kind of misogynistic things and kind of going back in time, making America great again, like the way men and women used to be, and women took care of the household and raised the children, and men went out and worked and all of that stuff. The one thing that blows my mind that existed and was considered polite and chivalrous is the men used to order for the women at a restaurant.
Oh,
so
yeah.
a man would be like, I'll have the steak and she'll have the tortilla soup.
Right.
Is the most insane fucking thing. I mean, it is so upsetting to me because it's like, first of all, it also dips into men controlling like
What you're eating.
And how, your size and weight, keeping women small. They like whatever. In the best way of it, if the man's like, oh, I know what's good here, but you wouldn't, and not knowing like what they're in the mood for. I mean, it is. Well, I do. It's like a woman is an animal. I mean, it is so crazy to me.
I do hope in that scenario. See, I'm picturing this like the couple's at this cool like 40s nightclub restaurant, and I'm assuming they have a little conversation about what the woman wants in this chivalrous thing before the waiter comes.
But why?
You're painting a picture that like the guy's just deciding, which I don't think that was the case.
It was. That was the case. And it was like the men know what, like, almost like, I think in the best version of it is like the men wanting to impress the woman by like how he chooses the best food for her or something. But in the worst case scenario, it's like, well, all of it's horrible. But also I was thinking about last night at California Pizza Kitchen when we're trying to encourage our kids to order for themselves and speak up, and we're still ordering for them. And I'm like, it's so infantilizing to me to just imagining you being like, I'll order for you. And she will have is...
It's so funny.
Crazy.
If that might be more of a nightmare for me, if I had to be a woman back then, than like getting a period. If I had every meal at a restaurant was worried about what someone would order for me, that's a big anxiety thing for me.
Okay. Well, I don't love that you just said that would be worse than getting a period. You have no idea.
I mean, it might. I just said it might be. That just would be hard.
You have no idea.
Pill to swallow.
Going back to periods, period talk. Yeah. Do you know why cramps happen? I just had this conversation with someone and who is a father of a young, a teenager who has gotten her period, and he's a gay man, and he like is in it more so probably than most dads. And he was like, I didn't even know what cramps were. And I was like, that's interesting. Do you know what they are?
Do you know what they are?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know you know what they feel like, but so you know exactly what's going on?
Yes.
Oh, this is exciting. I would say for my life, I've always thought that it's like this, I know what cramps sort of feel like from like diarrhea cramps.
Okay.
And I imagine it's like you're bleeding for these days and the cramps are like squeezing and going back and forth and the blood is coming, they're pushing the blood out.
That's pretty accurate.
Stop it.
So, yes, so the uterus builds up tissue lining during the month. So you ovulate, and then the uterus builds up this lining. It's like a cushion inside of it, so that if the egg is fertilized, it has like a cushiony spot to connect into and start to grow. This lining makes the uterus like a nice home for the growing embryo or whatever. Mm-hmm. When, let's say, the egg's not fertilized, the egg just comes out and the tissue lining is not needed anymore, and so it sheds. And so that becomes your period. That's why sometimes periods have like clots and stuff like that. It's just like the tissue lining hasn't like liquefied or whatever. And so the cramps are helping to shed this lining.
Cool.
So you got it. It's great.
They say I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, sorry I got a little heated. I think that the adrenaline from stop sign lady.
No, it's okay. It's interesting. I feel like you misinterpreted my dreaming of business ideas. I thought in the past, you have your back thingy, you had a car invention.
It's also like a touchy subject. Because anytime I've had invention ideas, like back when we watched Shark Tank, a great show, I'd like to keep watching that.
Love it.
I'd be like, I have this idea. You always treated my ideas like they were so silly and...
You only had one idea. Just say what it is.
So it's a hot day.
It's just one idea.
It's a very hot day. And you're going to get into your car. Ooh, ouch. Everything's hot. We got to turn it on, wait for the AC to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I wish I had one of those stupid things that you unfold and put up on your windshield up. Or maybe I did and it fell down. Those things are unreliable, a sunshade.
Mm-hmm.
And they're such a hassle and they're so inelegant.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great if there were something on the interior of your car that was like hooked in on the side of your windshield? It's a shade that you just pulled out. So it like rolled out from inside the car and then there was a connection on the other side. And or even better, you just push a button and a shade comes out.
I think anyone can agree that a button that you just push that was built into the car, very cool. That was a late addition in your brainstorming of this. You were talking about an aftermarket thing that you could buy at Target.
Yeah.
That you would put on, and I just never believed in it because to me, I didn't know, and this was 20 years ago too, when you started dreaming this up. It just seemed like it would be clunky, there would be field of vision issues, and I just didn't think it had legs.
Well, you never gave it even a chance.
We talked about it for years.
You decided you thought it was dumb. The moment I said it, and you like...
It's not dumb.
Of course, every idea needs to like grow. But I mean, obviously I didn't have the support. And that's kind of everyone who goes on Shark Tank who's successful is like, I had support from XYZ, or I didn't have support and I divorced them. And then I decided to...
But this is what I'm going about of like, imagine we are on Shark Tank and this was just a fun dream that I wanted to talk to you about. In the origin story, there's like, so how did you come up with this skincare line that's based on this thing? And you're like, well, it's really funny. We once posted this video and everyone was asking about my skin. And it turns out I just like putting Nutella and seaweed on my face every night. And we realized if we put that in a thing together and marketed it, like, this is really a game changer. I've never had softer skin. And they're like, that's so funny. And we have a clip of the clip from 20 years earlier and whatnot. It's like a fun origin story. And we are a married couple and we are in it together.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. This is also fraught territory because it's a female specific, not to say men can't have skincare lines or whatever, but I don't know what the example was, but over the years, you always came to me with these genius female-specific business ideas, and it's like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Skincare is like one of, pardon the pun, the most saturated markets of ever. Like,
it's hard to get in.
And the truth is, I am using other people's skincare lines. Like, I'm happy to go into what I do use on my skin if people want to know, but it's existing brands. I'm not putting Nutella and seaweed on my face. So that's kind of where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in getting into skincare, but what I am interested in, and I think this will be rolling out this summer.
Okay.
And I promise to our nobodies and somebodies, this hasn't been just one huge ad lead up to this, but we are going to have Amazon link for things that we mention and love on this podcast.
Oh yeah, we used to do that back in the day.
Yeah, people can go on there and we'll post that in our link tree and our website to come where people can go. So when I do talk about what I use, they can go and buy it and we get a little piece of
You know what
action.
I thought you were going to say? That's fun. You know what I thought you were going to say that we are going to have?
What?
Which we haven't really even talked about, but this has to happen because I have some ideas. is some merch.
Yes.
I really have some ideas for some t-shirts
Cool merch.
and sweatshirts. I got some ideas.
Great.
I mean, it's going to be a while, but I got ideas.
That's exciting. That I am fully behind.
Okay.
Because that's something we've built that exists.
We dream small. I like it. One last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought this delightful, and I'm not going to remember the name of I was listening to some podcast, and it was some kid who, he makes these fun short videos where he goes into people's apartments. Have you seen this?
Oh, no, but that's so weird. I just saw like a Yahoo Money random ad that was like, I make $100,000 a year just by asking to go into people's apartments.
Wait, this is crazy because I wonder if it's the same guy.
It must be.
Long story short, so he's like a huge guy on TikTok, Instagram Reels, all that stuff. And Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank,
yes,
DM'd him and was like, you got to come do my place. Because now people like want to be on his series. But yeah, he asked people like, how much do you make? And then, and then he goes, can I see your apartment? And then he goes into your apartment. And so Barbara Corcoran DM'd him and he did it. I haven't seen their episode. I want to check it out because it'd be funny for her to be like, I make $3 billion a year or whatever. Right. This is my apartment. But he said this thing that he was like, was so inspiring that she was like, awesome. Number one, he said.
Oh.
And I guess she said after his thing aired that she was like, I got so many people reaching out wanting to buy my place. I could have sold it for anything. Like,
wow.
She was like, but she told him when she met him, she goes, I wish I had thought of this idea. Cause she's like a big real estate mogul. And she goes, there is no world that you can't 100x this idea. Which he was like, which was just so inspiring to hear 100x, from her.
By the way, I mean, speaking of that concept of being in the homes of people, you know, you to some degree, but I, in New York, spent a lot of time in the homes of the wealthiest New Yorkers.
You did. I really did too. I saw,
you saw
every day
a lot.
I was in 7 places.
Right.
Yeah. But you were
But I was in at the time, the richest person in New York City's home multiple times a week. And was doing his flowers and terrace gardening. Yeah. And it's just such a fascinating world. I mean, I actually am kind of developing a show about it in my mind. But it's crazy. And it's crazy to think how much money those people have. It's wild.
Oh, they were I mean, you've talked about this on the show. Like, what could a weekly budget for flowers be?
Oh, I mean, back then, and this again was 20 years ago, it was $5,000 a week.
On fucking flowers.
On flowers. And
which
also,
is sweet. I mean, hey, if you got it, cool,
yes. And what a lovely way to have beauty in your apartment. And I will say my boss, Susie, is an artist. So her floral arrangements were so beautiful. And honestly, the hardest part of the job, I mean, it was a physically very demanding job. So basically, you know, we'd go once a week into all of these buildings, have like service entrances, and then there are these areas under the buildings where there are these like dank rooms.
Yes, the belly of the buildings. The belly of the building. Furnaces are. It's where it's all the goods to make these buildings tick.
All the worker ants, you know, crawling around down there. There are all these tunnels connecting all the buildings. It's a crazy like little network of, and so we were like the worker ants down there in the dark, and we'd buy so many flowers from the flower market. We'd get there at like 5 a.m., get all of the good stuff. We had like our people that were the best that we would go to. But they'd come like each tulip, you know, is a huge long tulip with all these leaves. And we'd have to each tulip, like peel the leaves back, cut it in a certain way, poke a hole a certain place, sometimes like wire the flower stem. So like wrapping wire around each flower stem. Yeah. But what I was going to say, the hardest part was I would have to go up, so take the service elevator up. And it also is like this blend between having to look really nice and clean in these homes that are like so everything is crazy.
Yeah.
But also you're doing really dirty work, and sweating, and it's so. But I'd take all of the flour, I'd take one by one these huge flower arrangements that are really big and heavy.
Yeah.
Down. Yeah. They're still perfect. I mean, it's a week later and they're so beautiful, and it was so painful. Dump it in the trash.
Yeah.
And start anew. And so that was like the only painful part of it, but being in those spaces, it was interesting. Like one of our clients who was the wealthiest man in New York, I'm not going to name names, but had a very like Trumpy looking place, like gilded gold and not, in my opinion, good taste. Like everything just is like, I'll buy that because it looks like it's expensive. And sure enough, it is.
Yep.
And one time I was there when there was this huge painting of this tiger in their like foyer.
Yeah.
And I was there when the insurers came by to like inspect it, which I guess happens all the time.
Sure.
It's like $150,000 a month to insure this painting.
Jesus Christ.
That's the level of like shit we're talking. But then there was this other person whose apartment we worked in who it was the most stunningly beautiful, artistic, like blend of modern and also traditional. And the man was married to this like younger French woman who had exquisite taste. In this apartment, everything was so beautiful and incredible. But what was crazy to me is both of these places, like, that these were people's homes. They had kids who lived there. Yeah. There were so many employees. Like, there were so many of us scurrying around, I
mean, it is crazy to think you and me have seen those dope Manhattan apartments.
Yes.
That are like mansions in a big building. Like with playrooms and stuff. Do you know where it's like where most people in Manhattan, you have a tiny ass apartment where there's like, no, there's a playroom here. There's this and that.
There's like a screening room in Manhattan. It's crazy.
I can't believe I've never thought of this. Yeah. But I have definitely been in Trump apartments, like Trump, not Trump Tower.
Trump family
apartments. Like, without a doubt, I can remember of going to, I can think of two in my head.
Are you serious?
And I can remember also you just typing that name into our database. Yeah, we did lots of work for that
family.
And
tell our listeners what you were doing.
I was working for a place that they had two businesses. It was window treatments, so like shades, and then also glass, so mirrors, broken windows.
Glass tabletops. Shower.
And shower enclosures.
And you were the measurer.
I was like the measurer / salesperson, eventually mostly for glass shower enclosures and like mirrors and tabletops and stuff. But yeah, I went to some Trump apartments for sure. Wow. I don't know if it was the kids or whatchamacallit. And also that family has so many apartments in Manhattan, obviously. Well, they have so many buildings, but the families themselves. But that's weird to think about ages ago.
That is weird.
Anyway, okay. Well, crazy.
We did it. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening to this wild ride, and we'll be back next week.
See you then. Good night.
Night.